Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Emily. Today I'm going to be doing my September wrap-up. I'm going to go through some stats and then I'm going to get into the books. I'm going to review them and tell you what my thoughts are on them. So let's get started. So in the month of September, I have read 9 books, but I'm going to count 10 because I'm almost finished with another book and I should be able to finish it today. Today's the 30th, so I should be able to finish it tonight. I have read a total of 3,973 pages this month. That's about an average month or a good month for me. Depends on how I do the rest of the year. Right now it's probably about a little more than I've been reading, but whatever. Okay, so moving on, I read 3 standalones and 7 books that were part of series. I read 3 male authors and then technically I guess 7 female authors, but if I'm not gonna count the same author twice, then 6. I'm gonna go into my star ratings. So I did not have any 1, 2, or 3 star ratings. I had 4 4-star ratings and 5 5-star ratings. I am not including the book that I haven't finished yet, so it could go either one way or the other depending on the ending. Okay, let's get into the books I read. So first I read The End of Her by Sherry Lapina. So this is about a family and a wife and a husband. So they just had a baby and I can't remember if they were twins or not. I'm kind of like forgetting this. I can't remember their names, but the husband lost a wife previously and it was ruled an accident, but is it really? And then this woman from his past kind of comes in and shakes up this couple's world. It was really interesting and it kept me wanting to read it. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It's about what I expect from this author. Her books are, they're really easy and good to get through, but I wouldn't say it's one of my all-time favorites. Next, we're going to move on to a favorite, Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I love this book. I did not think I was going to like this book as much because I heard really good things about it, but I'm still trying to venture more into adult fantasy, and I listened to the audiobook for this one and I highly recommend. I absolutely love the audiobook. In this we follow 4 characters or point of views. One though I'm not going to mention his name because he's not till later and he's only a few chapters. But first we follow Serapio, who ever since he was young his mother raised him to believe that he was going to be a crow god, and there is some torture, I guess you could say, that happens in this book, so be wary of that. But anyway, he's trying to get from one place to another, which intertwines then his story with our next main character, Giala. I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name. But I think that's how it was said, if I remember correctly. And she has to work extra hard to get people to trust her. She is a captain of a ship, and because she is different from them, people don't trust her easily. And she is also bi, I believe, so there is some representation there. But her and Serapio, I think, become really close throughout their journey from one place to the other. So I really liked her character a lot. She was really sassy and, knew what she wanted. We also followed Narampa, if I remember correctly, and she has kind of risen from the dregs of being really low to a sun priest, and she has to work extra hard to keep it. And her story I wasn't super interested in as much, but the further in we got, I kind of cared about her a little more. I'm still interested to see what's going to happen to these characters, but I absolutely love this book. 5 out of 5 stars if you couldn't tell. I can't wait to reread this one and then read the next one that comes out, I believe, next April. So next I have a reread, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I wanted to reread the series so that I could get to the 4th book that came out, A Court of Silver Flames. I also have not read the novella that comes before this, so I really need to read that too. But this is about Feyre, and she finds herself in trouble when she kills a fairy, and she is taken then into the fairy realm, or Prithia, to the Spring Court, and is supposed to live out her days there, only there's more going on that she doesn't realize. The first time I read this book, I fell in love with it. I couldn't wait for the next one, and each book, I feel like it just got better and better. I love coming back to these characters, so I'm happy to be back in this world again, and I gave this, of course, 5 stars. The next book I have, I can't tell you about because it's part of a secret TBR video I'm doing, and so you'll just have to wait for this video to come out whenever it comes out, when I finish reading all the books for it, but I'm really excited for it, and I will tell you that I gave this book 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. The next book I have is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, and obviously a reread. I'm not going to tell you the synopsis for this because it would be spoilery if you haven't read it, but just know that I absolutely love this book. It's probably my favorite out of all of them so far. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Loved it. So next I'm going to talk about Brave by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the 3rd and final book in her Wicked trilogy. This follows Ivy and Ren, and it has to deal with like the Fae and like an order that protects humans from the Fae and kills them. But then one night Ivy runs into this one that's not a normal one, and she ends up getting intertwined with Ren, and then secrets come out, and it was so good. I highly recommend this series if you just need a quick, easy read that's fun and just to take your mind off of things. This was exactly that for me. I was falling into a slump, and I just needed something quick and easy, and all I could think of was, okay, I'll finally try this. You know, I heard good things. Also, I watched the movie that's on Passion Flix for this, and it was good. I will say, though, that the sexy time scenes in that and the book, 5 out of 5 stars, so good. But I ended up giving this one 4 stars. It wasn't quite the ending I thought it would be, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And I definitely want to pick up these books to have in my collection, and I think I could find myself rereading these again. Next, I read 7 Deadly Sins, Volume 11 by Kaba Suzuki. I love the anime on Netflix for this series. I believe the last season just came out, and I finished it, and I absolutely loved it, and I want more, and I can't get enough of these characters. Elizabeth and Meliodas are trying to save the Kingdom of Leonis, and they have to gather the 7 deadly sins and bring them together to help her save her people and her family. And there's just so much more to this, and I highly recommend people to check this out. It's such a good story, and if you don't want to read the manga, please go check out the anime series on Netflix. It's so good. Or, you know, even read these. These pretty much are the way the show is, at least for the first season. I think there's like 41 of these, like volumes of these, so I'm trucking my way slowly through them, but I'm enjoying it each time I pick it up. It's like diving back into it all over again. Oh, and I gave this 5 stars. Next, I read / listened to The Creeping Shadow by Jonathan Stroud. This is the 4th book in the Lockwood & Co. series. This follows Lucy, and she kind of teams up with Lockwood & Co., so with 2 boys, Anthony and George, and this is a middle grade horror, if I didn't say. But they are tasked with dealing with ghosts and different haunting things, and also trying to figure out when the problem of these ghosts like coming back and like terrorizing people started. But along the way, they keep finding themselves pulled into different situations that lead them closer and closer to something bigger that's taking place. And I am enjoying this series so much. I will definitely reread this series. I have all the audiobooks and the ebooks, and I really want to own the physical books. But I can't wait to get to the last one. I think I'm holding off because I don't want it to end. But the series really is so good and perfect for spooky season. If you want to check it out, definitely some gore and gross bits and descriptions and stuff in there, but really good. Great writing, great characters, very atmospheric. It's like, it is historical a little bit because it takes like place, I think, in like old London, I guess. But definitely recommend that. Really enjoyed it. Gave that one 5 stars. Okay, the last book that I have finished so far is Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. I picked this up because the audiobook on Audible was in the Plus catalog, so I read it for free. I also had the ebook version of it and I followed along, and this was actually surprisingly really good. I wasn't sure what to expect going into it. I just wanted something creepy and spooky and quick to read, and I did it all in one night and loved it. Will probably read it again, maybe during another spooky season. I'm actually really excited to try some of his other stuff. I have My Best Friend's Exorcism, the book club, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I have the Final Girl Support Group. So I want to get to those before I decide to reread any more stuff. But I think that you should go into this without knowing anything, because that's pretty much what I did. All I know is like it was like a knockoff of IKEA but haunted. And that's all you really need to know. It was really good. If you like spooky things, check this out. Absolutely enjoyed it. I did give it 4 out of 5 stars because the ending, I guess. I don't know that I was 100% satisfied with the ending, but I understand why it did what it did. I just wish that there was like more, like either another one or like a spin-off or something that gave us some kind of resolution, sort of, I guess, but whatever, I still really enjoyed it. And the book that I am currently reading, I also can't tell you what it is or what it's about because it is also for that same video, and I don't know when this video will be out. I was hoping this month, but I still have 3 other books to read for it that I'd like to do, and I don't know if it'll happen in October, so maybe November. Fingers crossed that I can finish all of these books to get that video out. Sorry, I'm just popping in here before the end of the video. I forgot to tell you what all I read for the Magical Readathon prompts and the Bookopalathon prompts. So let's start off with Bookopalathon. First one I had was Buzzword for the People one, so girl, boy, people, and for that I read the end of Her, pushing it a little bit, but Her. Next I had New. For that I read one of my secret books. The next one, Myth, Lore, Legend, Fairy Tale. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. Next I had Opulent, so A Court of Mist and Fury. Then I had LGBTQ plus rep. I did Black Sun for that one. Then I had Big Book, which I did The Creeping Shadow. So that's what I did for Becca's Bookopalathon. So for the Magical Readathon, I did complete all of them plus the 3 character pieces. So the Novice Entrance, Read a Book with a Map. Horror Store, it has a map of the store. The Ashthorn Tree, A Book That Keeps Tempting You. I read Brave by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The Mist of Solitude, read a standalone, a secret book. Ruin of the Sky, read a book with supernatural elements. The Creeping Shadow. Obsidian Falls, read a mystery thriller. The End of Her. Tower of Rumination, read a 5-star prediction. The 7 Deadly Sins, Volume 11. Aurelium Academy arc, a book with a school setting. Again, that's one of my secret books. Then I get into the character things. My background is Wilding, a book set in a forest or outside, so I did Court of Thorns and Roses for that one. The Province was Artheria, a book featuring fair elves, A Court of Mist and Fury. And then my heritage is an earthling or fire, so a book with an elemental magic or an elemental word in the title or series name. Black Sun, because so the series name for Black Sun is between earth and sky, so earth being an elemental word. So sorry, I completely forgot to go over those. I did switch books out and double up between the readathons, so there you go. On to the outro. That was everything I read this month / will finish before the end of the night. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to. That would be great. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.